Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. I'm here with the amazing Mr. Wolf, and this is just a general share advice and not personal. Wolfie, again, pretty quiet today. So beginning of the week, uh, it's good to see the Dow was up, the Nasdaq looking, holding in there, not looking too bad. I think we did say on Einstein's this week we're hopeful of a sort of a fairly decent week for trending stocks. Um, but again, pretty quiet, not much news. Now, we did have two stocks that we want to talk about. AGE had a really superb looking chart. Einstein's picked the momentum up quite nicely.
Yes.
Are you liking it fundamentally? There's been an announcement today. Is it any good?
I'm liking the results. Yes, I'm liking the results. They're one of the probably higher grade stuff we've seen recently in Australia. Just to put in the context, we see a lot of results in the ppms in the uranium space, right? So between say 200 to 1,000 ppm, which is up to 0.1% uranium mineralization. These guys come up to 8,000 ppm, so up to 0.8% uranium, right? So you can see these are high grade results for Australia. You don't see them very often here, so that looks pretty good. So if you are trading this, obviously the results have given you a little bit of a leg up. It's still obviously just to be a trading stock only, because for them to actually mine anything is probably going to be years away. Hence BOE is our preferred stock as a uranium space, but age looks good on a exploration side, Dave. I think you can probably say with confidence that if anyone's looking for an exploration play, age looks pretty good.
Wolf, they're obviously an exploration play. Which part of Australia are they exploring, and is that an issue getting a license across the line later on?
There will be an issue getting a license, doesn't matter which part of Australia you are, Dave. It also depends on the state itself. Governments change, and governments can change their mind whether to give a permit out. I remember back in the 2000s, I think, changing government. I was living in WA at the time. So those uranium hopefuls were hoping that one government changes because they had a better chance of getting the permits with Labor than it was with Liberal. So it's interesting, isn't it? Or I think the other way around. I can't remember, but they do change, and it all depends. These guys, I think, are predominantly in Northern Territory, Alligator. But I think I do have other assets around Australia. I think in WA and South Australia.
The only issue, Wolf, I don't know, could it be? I mean, I'm looking at BOE. Their market cap is around 750 million. AGE is around 300 million. It's a big market cap for a company.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
So maybe
trading it right.
Yeah. So just be very, very careful. I'd be sort of maybe more leaning to take profits if I was in that.
Fair enough. We could be one of those buy the rumor, sell the fact.
Wolf, Duckton Farm, DBF. It's actually got a good chart. As you've seen, a lot of these sort of agricultural stocks have been doing really, really well recently. Now they came out with an announcement today, which really was very, very poor. And you'd have expected them to be sold down a little bit, but possibly because it's lightly traded, it's just maybe a few people owning the stock. That hasn't happened, but go on, Wolf, fill me in. What's
Oh, look, it's an interesting story because it's an agri stock, right? That's why it's probably going very, very well. But today's update hasn't really put a great picture on it, because if you look at the winter crop production tons from one season to the next, so I'm just looking at the numbers, right? And they produce wheat, barley, chickpeas, field peas, and canola. So wheat went down by 28% from season to season. Barley went down 52%. Chickpeas went down to 0, and field went down to 0. So a huge downgrade across the board on the winter crop production. Yet, look at the chart. I don't quite understand. However, it is possibly a play still. We had the floods, and this is what they're talking about. The floods has affected them for sure, hence the lower yields and some of the feed they have to actually sell as lot feed. But potentially people are still maybe looking past the floods and looking that conditions are still overall, generally, pretty good for farming.
Well, prices are with what we've talked with inflation
Exactly.
around the world are sort of going up, aren't
It's
they?
booming, right? Wheat's booming. So at least from that point of view, 28% down, it's not a disaster. But the wheat price is surging. It's probably going to offset that anyway. So I'd say while the production might be not great, they've been helped by a strong move in the prices of the commodities they are actually farming.
All right, Wolf.
Interesting,
Now,
isn't
it is interesting. It's and really that's all we had to talk about today with stocks putting out announcements. Was
it?
very little of interest. As I suppose we could have a little brief mention. Telstra again talking about separating their assets into different areas where they've talked about this before. I think it would release a lot of value in the company, Wolf, if they did it. But it's not happening yet, correct?
Yeah. Look, they're going through the motions of it. Like you said, it's been flagged. We know about it. It's a process. It doesn't change anything for me. I know that this is exactly what I want to see anyway. They need to turn themselves into something a bit different, and they are. So all good.
Right, Wolf. We're going to talk about something today we haven't spoken about. This is stagflation. Now, stagflation, very sort of pretty simply, Wolf, right? And I like to keep things simple because if I overcomplicate them, then my brain starts like pounding. But generally speaking, when we get inflation, it's not good for the economy because all the prices go up. Salaries go up, interest rates go up on mortgages. It's a bad thing. But what we can often do with stagflation, we can lower the interest rates. We can inflation. If we get inflation, we can lower the interest rates and basically try and get the world markets back on track again. Now, the issue with stagflation is that stagflation is when we have a period of interest rates possibly going up, also as the economy is floundering.
Yeah. So the definition of it is high inflation, stagnant economy. Yes.
A bit of a problem. Like last time we had that was in the 70s, but it's a massive problem, especially with an overly inflated property market. I mean, it's not so bad up in Queensland or Western Australia, but certainly in Melbourne and Sydney, we've got these overinflated property markets. There's massive issues there, Wolf. Massive reasons to be concerned. Now, a lot of companies, there's a lot of sort of how do you say stocks that will benefit or not benefit that will get through stagflation in America have actually been trending up very nicely recently. So the Americans are sort of really of the opinion it's here. Just because the America look like they're going to get stagflation, would that follow through to our economy and other economies around the world?
Possibly. It depends. It depends on the actual ingredients that make stagflation, right? That come to fruition. So I think the ingredients are there. Whether they can align all together at the time to actually see stagflation is another question. But I think we've got the ingredients there. So there's a strong possibility that we could see it here in Australia too. Saying that, I think it's much greater risk in America than it is here in Australia. Now, Dave, one more thing I just wanted to say is with the property market, it's been tested by many things. It's been tested by GFCs. It's been tested by pandemics. It's been tested by wars. But I don't think it's been tested by stagflation before. So is this maybe that thing that kills it finally and it sees a bit of cooling off? I don't know. I mean, I'm just posing that question because we really haven't seen it. We haven't really seen a proper cool off in the property market for many a year.
Well, it's been tested, and the RBA just keep pulling interest rates down because they're trying to stop the bubble from bursting, right? So
Yes.
Eventually the bubble will burst, and the question is that it could be sooner than we think.
And of course, you pose the question: what does well in a stagflation market, stagflationary market? And the answer is, by the looks of things, is the essential services and goods, right?
So the staples, the things that we need,
That's
right?
exactly right.
The basis of life, a good,
Food,
food,
telcos.
shelter, light,
That's
telephone.
right. That's exactly right. And of course, communication, probably medical services, all those things that are probably going to do quite well, which they have been doing okay already, but maybe we'll see even further push into these sort of things. So we'll have a look at some of these stocks, Dave, right now.
I think like agricultural land, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So, well, on our market, you would look at something as well like rural funds, right? Nice little 4% dividend, owns a lot of agricultural lands. Arguably, could be a great a good stock to hold over inflation. You've got Telstra.
Yep.
Obviously, the old telephone. It's never going to go away.
No, you need to pay for your phones. You need to have some communications. You can't just go in a bunker.
You could look at stocks like TUA.
Yeah.
Right. You could look at Coles.
Yeah.
One of the best stocks. Metcash.
Yeah.
Woolworths.
Sure.
Yeah. What other stocks, Wolf, would you put in that category here in our market? You think would you?
Well, let's look at things like Sonic Healthcare, right? I think that's going to do quite well, possibly in this market, and it is starting to recover. So I'd be looking at your essential services. I think that sort of stuff is essential. We've got the agri stocks. We've already got Elders possibly in there. I think that should do quite well.
Yeah, we've got
also, of course,
GNC, which is looking quite good.
And of course, you also talked about energy, right? So let's look at the Woodsides, the Santoses of the world. I think that's the other thing to really focus on. Also, I think I read us article, I think maybe a day or two ago, that Santos, for example, can actually cover a lot of different spaces, possibly stagflation, possibly also green energy, because they are moving away and moving into their green stuff. So look, it's interesting. You do have a few things to have a look at and consider when you're looking at stagflation. Yeah, so look at the basics, I suppose, is the key.
So I think, well, for us going forward, this is going to be an increasing theme of the sort of stories that we're going to be looking here at Equity Story. We're going to be looking at these sort of stagflation stories, places where over a period of time, hopefully it could protect us from what we might term as larger downfalls. Now, does this worry you more and more? Obviously, stagflation with does this mean more of a sell-off for tech stocks, the sort of the unprofitable tech stocks?
It's an interesting question, because I don't think we've been through this period before with such a tech stock heavy index. So it's an interesting dilemma. We know that they've been re-rated anyway already, so I don't think it will help them in any way. Maybe there's only a few that might do quite well, like your Apples of the world, right, or your Microsoft, which are essential part of your business, in a way. So I think they'll be fine. It's, again, I'll probably be still struggling to make a case for any of those companies that are not making any money. So I'd still be staking away from them. I still wouldn't be buying any, and I'll just be really focusing on the blue chips of the tech world.
Yeah, it's so really in a time of sort of stagflation, you're looking more and more with the blue chip, the staple stories.
100%, Dave.
Yeah, staples. There's going to be, they're saying already risk is off the market. Risk is going to get off the market even more and more going forward.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a look at the American stagflation stories, because we had a look at an article that talked about 7 American stocks in stagflation, and there were some big names in there. We look at Sempra. I'm not sure what they actually did. Let me just have a quick look. I think they were in light bulbs. Of all things, light bulb. Essential.
We need light, don't we?
That's right. I think that's what they were in. Then we had American States Water, again, utility, right? Interesting, of course, essential. Then Nutrien, a very interesting company out of Canada, in a fertilizer business. Look at that chart. That's amazing, right? So they're covering, again, a lot of different spaces. You're looking at food security. You're looking at the rising prices of fertilizer. And of course, now you've got a stagflation as well, hedge, inflation hedge. I mean, great. That's why it's so good. Costco, this is our Woolworths, right? Or our Coles. So that's looking pretty good. So that's why it's probably going so well. J&J, sorry, Johnson & Johnson, another one, staple type.
Well, we need those
stuff. Yeah, toilet papers, all the stuff. We need it. I mean, toilet paper just flies off the shelves when there's something happening.
I mean, they've got everything, haven't they? Creams, body creams, lotions.
Absolutely. Yeah. Essential type stuff they've got. So there is a lot of stuff in there to have a look at.
And Wheaton Precious Metals Corp.
Yep. I think what they do is trade metals. So I can understand again from that point of view, low risk because they are not taking the risk of actually mining the stuff. They are just trading it. In a volatile market like this, they're possibly not a bad, look, it's interesting point of view, but I can understand. And last one is OVV, Dave.
Wow, and you can see, what's interesting, Wolf, you can see already in America, the smart money starting to move into these stagflation stories, or stories that should hold up in a very, very sort of stagflation type economy.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very interesting, Wolf. I must be honest. It's amazing how the charts are there before really.
I know, before we get anywhere. It's like the market, the early market people that are looking at those what might happen next, like stagflation. They're setting themselves already, right? They're not even waiting for their stagflation signs to be here. They are predicting they're going to happen. So they're looking at the ingredients, like, we talked about the ingredients of what makes, for example, if you look at a tornado, what makes a tornado? You need special conditions to actually happen. And this is what we are probably entering right now for stagflation. We've got the special conditions that are starting to appear, and those people that can see those conditions are getting in.
All right, Wolf, it's very interesting, but this is something that we're going to be really aware of moving forward, and really sort of keeping an eye on the stocks that, if this economy, if we do get, and the question is, if it does follow through from America, it looks like we get stagnation coming forward. We need to keep a real close eye on the sort of stocks that we should be looking in investing in over this, what could be a very, very difficult period of time. And of course, Wolf, you've got the main stories that we talked about the other day. I suppose the Apple's companies that, everyone has telephone or whatever, it's still there. And you can actually see those stories that we spoke about yesterday, and Microsoft going for that.
Going on with it, aren't they?
Going on with it, and Google and Nvidia all having a pretty good night last night, and all these big stories just going on with it, which is exactly what we're here for, Wolf, to pick the stories for everyone, and hopefully make some money for people. On that note, Wolf, interesting chat today. We got live tonight at
please join us for that
7 o'clock, and please join us because all those stocks that you're not sure about, or you're not sure where the stop loss is, that's what we're here for. Let's talk about them. Let's look at the questions, and let's see if we can make a good, decent decision. On that note, Wolf, thank you very much.
Thank you. See you tonight.
Bye, mate.